how to try out artificial intelligence properly if you want to change your business at the scalable way. That's a question many C-level people ask me about. Hey, why we are just focusing on ChatGPT here and there instead of changing the company globally? So I will give you a couple comments regarding this question. First of all, it's a wrong question because if we want to change something at the scalable way, we got to analyze the issues that we want to change or solve, or challenges we want to tackle at the scalable way. So if we are focusing on, for instance, one department and change that one department within one profit and loss structure, we are not going to influence the whole company. It might be a little bit of the domino effect. For instance, we are going to change supply chain and it's going to create a better opportunities for marketing and sales. But if we don't have that at the scalable way, it will be hard to change something in one department and at the same time conduct the influence on the whole company. So the question should be different. What are the processes we want to improve in a company and how we want to improve them with artificial intelligence, and then what impact it's going to bring? So let's focus on these three parts. What processes? First of all, we need to get those processes mapped out. If we don't have them mapped out, even if the most primitive way, it's going to be difficult for us to have the overall snapshot of the change we can conduct. If our supply chain, marketing and sales, production and delivery, and administration processes are mapped out, at least at the general level, we see connections between them. If we see connections between them, we are one step away from finding connections between data in these processes. Let me give you an example. If we see how much our trucks that are on the fields delivering goods are taking, for instance, gasoline per month, and how much routing we need to do to deliver our products to customers, then it influences our business offering. Because if we are very flexible and smart about delivering, we can then get that as our advantage in marketing and sales. That means that the production and delivery needs to fit in specific standards so our marketing and sales promise can be delivered. That influence administration part, for instance, IT support or HR recruitment. Because if we have tech-savvy drivers in our trucks, that means that can follow AI, and that means we need to hire specific people with specific skills. That's the example of the connection between processes across company. If that connection is being visible, we can connect data to that. And AI, as I mentioned in many of my previous episodes, like to connect data from different sources, especially if that data is unstructured, and bring patterns that we humans find it hard to see or we don't see them at all. So that's part of the equation. Second thing is bring the impact. We got to understand what the impact is. And finally, we have two types of impacts. We either save money or increase productivity. Productivity is pretty simple. You want to do more in less time. You want to send more trucks in less time, deliver a window. You want to send more trucks with less gasoline consumption. You want to have more leads with less work. If you can quantify that, then you are on the great path to good artificial intelligence project that will actually change the company. It will move the needle instead of being something like a cherry on the top, something nice to see, but without significant impact. So let me give you an example. In one of my companies, one of my customer companies, we are facing a problem with documents translation. If you're manufacturing something, you got to provide the manual and all the guidance that you need to install, mount, and things like this. That is being translated to more than 20 languages, which brings significant challenge, especially that you need to update this documentation, deliver that to the customer, and make it visually attractive. That influence marketing and sales, because if you keep selling the product, the customer wants to ask you how difficult it is to mount it or assemble it or deassemble it, depends on what product you produce and what kind of the materials you're delivering to make that process easier, right? Because easier means less time, which is less cost for mounting. So that's marketing and sales. And it turns out that for one of my customers, it can be couple hundreds, $1,000 per year to deliver all the translation process. So if artificial intelligence is going to change the process, I need to understand who does the translation, what's the data behind it, how it's being conducted, and then what's going on at the end as the proposal and the marketing and sales department. The impact would be cutting the process by 50% of cost, which is going to be instead, for instance, $300,000 per year to 150, which means if I invest in AI 50, I will have the ROI positive after third part of the year, which is $150,000 of saving per year. If you use that kind of thinking and that kind of approach in your company, you can conduct artificial intelligence projects that are impactful and make sense at the scalable way.